What is up, everybody? Chris here, the Day-to-Day Apologist. Boy, it's good to be back. Welcome to my What Jesus Said series, part 48. Today we're going to be reading in Matthew chapter 10, verses 5 through 10, where Jesus sends out the 12. Now, I don't know about you, but it's been far too long since I've done a video, and I am totally ready to dive into the Word of God to hear what Jesus has to say. So let's get straight into it. These 12 Jesus sent out with these following instructions. Do not go among the Gentiles or enter any town of the Samaritans. Go rather to the lost sheep of Israel. And as you go, preach this message. The kingdom of heaven is near. Heal the sick. Raise the dead. Cleanse those who have leprosy. Drive out demons. Freely you have received. Freely give. Do not take any gold or silver or copper in your belt. Take no bag for the journey or extra tunic or sandals or even a staff. For the worker is worth his keep. Now, where is Jesus? Jesus is around the Sea of Galilee. And who is Jesus speaking to? You guessed it, his disciples. Now, Jesus is using this particular area because he's sending the disciples into different towns. And wherever that location is, we don't know. It must have been a really good spot because he was sending out quite a few of the disciples to multiple areas. And how do we apply this in our day-to-day? There's a lot that we can take away from just these 5 verses. But here's the 3 main takeaways that I want to share with you guys. So the first thing is that, do you notice that Jesus' mission is short, sweet, and to the point? I love that about Jesus. I like to be forthright and to be clear with people when I speak to them. And I like the fact that Jesus speaks with clarity. He tells them exactly, the disciples exactly what they're going to be doing. He tells them, there's things that you're going to be tempted to do. Don't worry about that. And it's like Jesus has already done this, so they've already seen this, and it's like, okay, it's time. And we need to remember that as Christians, that, our mission statement is pretty simple. We've been saved by grace through Jesus Christ, his death and resurrection, and other people need to hear it. Everything else can come later, but that message should be something that we share, if not on a daily basis, as much as humanly possible. Remember that, guys and gals. Remember that. You have a mission, I have a mission. This earth is not eternal. We are going to leave this place at some point. So that's the first point. I love Jesus' straightness and obvious direction on what he's doing with the disciples. And if we're willing, he'll do that with us. So the second thing is that Jesus called his disciples to do this stuff. If we call ourselves Christians, in other words, followers and disciples of Christ, then he will call us as well. We need to remember that. And finally, less is best for a maturing faith and growth in God. Jesus reminds the disciples that they're going to be scared and they're going to be nervous and they're going to want to provide, make sure they have all these provisions for their travels. But Jesus says, no, be like me. Don't worry about all the extra stuff. Let go of all this stuff. God's the provider. I know reading it, it's like, man, Jesus is being really unfair to these guys. They could be traveling a day's worth journey. They could be traveling half a day's worth journey. What if the town doesn't accept what they're saying and they attack them? They don't have any ways to mend their wounds or any of that. No money to go into a place. But Jesus knew that there were those that were going to help and take care of these guys while they were out there. We need to remember that while we're sharing the gospel message. It's not about being comfortable. It's about being bold and allowing God to mature our faith to trust his provisions. God bless you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for the prayers for our family. It really has been helpful. Please continue doing it. We're in the midst of kind of a waiting period until everything comes to a head. So things are better, but there's still a lot of stuff that's going to happen, and we're going to have to wait for God. So make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. And guys, thanks again for your support. I look forward to posting my next video on Thursday. See you then.